Welcome to today's broadcast of Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. I opened the show with this thought from W. Clement Stone. There is little difference in people, but that little difference makes a big difference. The little difference is attitude. The big difference is whether it is positive or negative. Food for thought, don't you think? I have some little differences to tell you about that are having a big impact in this country, and they are very positive. They are achievements made by the government in 2016, systems implemented to improve services at customs, and of course, the positive attitude of our young people to create solutions. All this, including the latest from our news desk, coming up right now.
Violence against women and girls is a human problem, not just a woman's problem. It's a problem for men too. Gender violence takes many forms, including sexual assault, domestic violence, relationship abuse, sexual harassment, and sexual abuse of children. The magnitude of ongoing violence against women and children in our country is cause for alarm. We can end the violence. It requires all of us to end the violence. I call on all our men and women in Jamaica to take a stand. And men, especially, must get involved in this movement to create a better world for their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, their fathers, their sons, and for themselves. Let's protect and reassure. Let's unite to end gender violence.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, January 26. The Andrew Holness-led administration will be making more public assets available to investors through divestment, privatization, and listings on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The Prime Minister says government will be taking a very practical approach to running the country, and that includes increasing asset utilization.
If we want to move from poverty to prosperity, what you need to do is to strengthen the regulatory arm of government so that it can divest itself of assets to the private sector. Government regulates the private sector and private sector produces efficiently. What we have seen around the world is that when the private sector is properly regulated, properly incentivized, in an environment where the rule of law is certain, the competition drives prices down.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking at Tuesday's opening of the 19th Jamaica Stock Exchange Investments and Capital Markets Conference. He again committed his government to supporting the Jamaica Stock Exchange through incentives. Meanwhile, government's fiscal and growth policies have received a thumbs up from global investment banking firm Jefferies. Calling 2016 a stellar year for Jamaica, the firm's managing director, Gregory Fisher, says he's very optimistic for 2017.
Given Jamaica's positive direction in the growth department, we now have a country that has finally grown past the ills of austerity and is now in a full recovery. Mr. Prime Minister, the wind is at your back and your sails are full. Keep the tack going so that your beloved country can finally reach its full potential under your esteemed leadership.
Mr. Fisher was speaking at Tuesday's opening of the 19th Jamaica Stock Exchange Investment and the Capital Markets Conference held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is reporting a rebound in fish production after experiencing years of decline. Minister without portfolio J.C. Hutchinson made the disclosure at Friday's launch of Bassa freshwater fish production by Algix Jamaica Limited. He says that in 2014, approximately 28,000 metric tons of fish, valued at roughly $110 million were imported. By contrast, local fish production, including aquaculture, was approximately 13,000 metric tons.
Today, aquaculture production hovers around approximately 600 metric tons per annum. That's a far cry from the 7,000 tons in 2007. It is within this context that I wish to commend ALGIC Jamaica on achieving this significant milestone in their operations. I'm sure you will agree with me that production of 100 tons of bassa, which is being produced for the first time in Jamaica, is no small feat.
Minister Hutchinson says the production of the bassa variety of freshwater fish is adding value to the country's fish stock. He says government will play its part in encouraging more farmers to enter the industry.
The government of Jamaica recognizes the important role that aquaculture plays with respect to food and nutritional security, and is committed to implementing deliberate strategies that will lead to increased engagement of our farmers, increased aquaculture production, and a reduction of our food import bill.
The 28 wards of the state who were displaced after fire destroyed the Clifton Boys' Home in Westmoreland last week have been moved to more spacious and better outfitted facilities in the parish. The boys were initially relocated to a nearby church hall owned by the Anglican Church, which also owned the property where the home was located. Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Floyd Green, recently toured the facility and indicated that more suitable arrangements were being finalized. Their new temporary home, which is owned by the Wesleyan Holiness Church, can accommodate up to 60 persons and is available until October this year. The Child Development Agency, CDA, says all 28 boys are back at school. Contributions towards the rebuilding of the home can be made to the Clifton Boys Home Rebuilding Fund number, that's NCB Savannah Lamar account number 611-098-561 for Jamaican currency, or account number 614-525-185 for US currency. And finally, Sport Minister Olivia Grange says the Jamaica Olympic Association is examining the International Olympic Committee's guilty verdict in a doping case against Nesta Carter. While expressing concern and disappointment with the ruling, Minister Grange says it's a process and the implications from the case will be thoroughly discussed.
I want to encourage our athletes, and I want to say to everyone, let us not be apprehensive. Jamaica firmly is against doping in sports, and Jamaica is also firmly in support and behind our athletes. And so, at this time, I just want to say to all of you that although we're disappointed about the ruling, remember, it's a process.
Minister Grange was speaking Wednesday night at the 2016 Women's League Awards ceremony. Held by the Jamaica Football Federation and the Sports Development Foundation, the event awarded female footballers who did exceptionally well last season.
I urge the football leadership, please, to do all you can and all within your power to ensure that this league remains a permanent feature on our sports calendar. As Minister, I will support your efforts to ensure that the league grows from strength to strength.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. A message from the Ministry of Health.
It's time to revise more achievements of the government in 2016.
Today, we are happy to partner with UNESCO in an activity which will impact directly the social and economic fabric of our country, the review of our national culture policy. The sign we are unveiling symbolizes what happens when a country, particularly a small island developing state, positions itself within the global sphere. This effort is to ensure that Jamaica benefits economically from this international designation. The government is committed to the declaration and development of 6 lots on the Pinnacle lands in Sligoville, St. Catherine, as a heritage site for the Rastafarian community. The newly reconstituted National Council on Reparations, co-chaired by Professor Vereen Shepherd and Mrs. Lolita Davis Mattis, is up and running. Mr. Speaker, this government is of the view that our heroes should be pardoned by the state as a means of blunting the edge of the sword of injustice and as a symbolic recognition of their struggle. It is now time for us to monetize all that we have, ensuring that most, if not all, of the earnings from these dynamic products flow back into the country to boost the national economy.
Oh, cheerio, cheerio.
The theme of this year's celebration is Let's Get Together and Feel All Right.
What have you left for me to do?
Be revision and amendments to existing legislation, which in some instances are archaic and discriminatory, to make them gender neutral and compliant with the language and guiding principles in the National Policy for Gender Equality. This is a united and focused approach. We're strategically looking at areas of law that need to be reformed. We're not afraid to take on the awesome task of effecting change. I want to encourage the athletes and coaches to make the best use of this opportunity. And this is why it's important that we invest in our young people to develop, and with all the support, they will develop the confidence and their skills will be honed to perfection. I'm exploring the idea of introducing a mobile unit that is equipped with diagnostic equipment, that is equipped with all that is necessary to assist athletes. We have agreed on the following course of action: the establishment of an interministerial working group / task force on safeguarding children in sport. Like good parents, the West Indies Cricket Board must reposition itself in such a way that its players see the governing body as its chief guardian rather than its Achilles heel. The Jamaica International Invitational is now a well-established brand globally and a revered Jamaican product. He's truly a legend. His name will be etched in the annals of history. We're developing a comprehensive investment strategy and program to maximize the benefits to be gained from the positive exposure through global sport. The ministry will commission 4 statues over the next 2 years for the following athletes: Usain Bolt, Veronica Campbell-Brown, Shelley Ann Fraser-Pryce, and Asafa Powell.
No matter what, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what, no matter how, when you feel like giving up, don't you dare do it.
what we are doing here is just symbolic to show that we care about you, our athletes.
Congratulations. You have done very, very well. We are just so happy that you all made it to Rio. It means that you are among the best in the world. Jamaica is proud of you. We love you.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Today is International Customs Day, where awareness is being spread about the role of customs officers and agencies around the world. It also highlights the significance of trade and border security, as well as partnership, enhancement of standards, and ease in conducting business. Today we look at the electronic ASYCUDA system, which makes doing business so much more efficient.
The Automated System for Customs Data, ASYCUDA for short. It's a big name for a big project that is reaping big rewards at the ports.
Just by eliminating the paper, all these entries that the importers or exporters or brokers have to use, we estimate that alone will save $537 million.
ASYCUDA World is helping the government in its pursuit of fiscal prudence and a credible macroeconomic program. Jamaica Customs exceeded the Finance Ministry's revenue target of approximately $12 billion for September 2015. The agency also exceeded its 2014 intake, moving from approximately $14 billion to $15 billion in gross revenue. The web-based application allows clients to undertake e-transactions, including manifest submissions, declarations, and payments. Basically, all users of customs can access information about transshipments through the agency's website, where a link to ASYCUDA World is provided. It's freeing up valuable space by replacing stacks of paperwork with electronic files.
These represent files from beyond July 2015. Evidence of the old system. Persons come to the export office with declarations, whether it be EX1, that's normal declaration, or EX2, which would be C43. They present their assessment notice to the officer. The officer brings up the assessment notice on the ASYCUDA World. We actually process it in terms of checking it, in terms of classification, checking for permits, all the requisite things that would uphold from the old system. Once we are satisfied, we will actually okay the process and send it to green.
The system has significantly improved the agency's efficiency outlook to the public.
We have always heard about lengthy waiting times, lengthy clearances in terms of an incurred costs, which is attributed to that where storage is concerned. This should be negated, if not significantly reduced. And of course, this is a cost saving to the importers as well. To date, we have seen just about 12,000 transactions being processed successfully, from preparing the declarations all the way to the point of release by the examining officers at varying customs offices island-wide. We've also seen $8.7 billion in terms of revenue being collected. The increased transparency is, of course, obvious, and this is also being commented on where our stakeholders are concerned as well. They are seeing reduced times in terms of overheads, and certainly it is of benefit to all of us.
To access information or to process information on applications, there was a disconnect in a number of areas.
And that's how it all began. There were about 21 databases used by the agency to process information and data which was not connected. This needed to change. The government had heard of and seen the benefits of ASYCUDA in other countries, and after reviews, a decision was made to implement it here. The pilot started in December 2014 at all Sufferance wharves island-wide, including the state-owned oil refinery Petrojam, the first importer to benefit under this phase. Approximately 174 brokers, importers, and customs staff members were trained in preparation for the pilot phase of the system. 10 exporters were also selected to participate in the pilot phase. By August 3, 2015, all exporters were required to use Asycuda World to submit electronic declarations to Jamaica Customs. It's expected that all importers will be brought on stream by December 2015, and the full implementation of Asycuda World is slated for March 2016. The system was developed by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, with Asycuda World being the most recent version of the software. The implementation of the system locally is being financed through a loan from the Inter-American Development Bank at a cost of $4 million.
Once a declaration is sent, the system will automatically send you a copy of that declaration as a notification.
The Jamaica Customs Agency is being lauded for moving to introduce the automated system for customs data Asycuda World. This web-based application is yielding significant cost savings and improving service delivery. It's all part of government's determination to implement systems that will improve trade facilitation and increase the country's competitiveness by making trade transactions simpler and smoother.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, more than a supper.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the idling. You think I saw? We reach out the edging. I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
Up next, youngsters demonstrating the ability and technology to become change makers.
I'm studying general agriculture. I want to be a veterinarian.
Bioengineer. I want to manage my own agricultural business.
They are the future of the agriculture sector and are working towards making a significant impact.
You have certain crops in Jamaica that are being depleted. I would like to re-engineer those crops and bring them back into the world. I'm planning to do something similar to this, or if I can fine-tune the same thing and rename it into a brand that I can offer to the economy, I want to do this.
This is the KISA model, a project that highlights an approach that can be taken by farmers to treat recycled water on their farms to irrigate field crops.
The main purpose of this layout right here is to have an environment where we try to have less economic problems, try to build up a system that is economically and environmentally friendly.
The idea and design came out of a need to implement such a system on the grounds of their Hanover-based agricultural school. The NACALVA students also believe that the KISA model will be able to sustain farmers through periods of low rainfall and drought. Here's how it will work. Say you are a pig farmer. Each time you wash the pig pen, that water can be channeled to various treatment points. The water, along with the waste substance, will then pass through a biodigester, allowing you to produce your own energy for your farm as well as manure.
In the biogas digester, anaerobic bacteria breaks down or digests the material and releases a gas known as methane gas. This methane gas is then sent to the control station where our generator converts this gas into energy and is used up on the farm on a day-to-day basis. So after the biogas digester, the solid part of the material is sent to the drying bed. In the drying bed, it is left open where it can be dried completely. After it is dried, the material is then used back in our outfield and our greenhouse as organic material or manure.
Following that is the water treatment process. The liquid from the drying pond is sent to the anaerobic pond, which is the first stage of treatment.
In this pond, there's a substance known as BOD. BOD is biological chemical oxygen demand. This is the amount of oxygen that bacteria requires to break down organic matter. It is reduced by 85% in the anaerobic pond, and in the second pond, which is the facultative pond, it is reduced by 95%. In the facultative pond, algae is present to add additional oxygen to the water by photosynthesis. And doing this, the algae also removes nitrates and phosphate, therefore purifying the water a little further.
From here, water moves to maturation ponds 1 and 2. This process is to move coliform bacteria.
Anaerobic respiration occurs at the bottom of the pond. The main purpose is to reduce pathogens like bacteria, viruses, E. coli, and no chlorine. Then it will travel in a channel to storage pond, where the water stays there.
This storage pond will also facilitate rainwater harvesting.
This harvested water is used to lower the pH of the water stored in the storage pond, and it is also used to spread out the level of pathogen in the water. This is done because there is a recommended level of pathogen per liter in the water, and doing this will reduce the amount of concentration of pathogen in that specific liter. After the treatment of the water, it is then sent to the control station where the generator and pump is activated, and it is dispersed into our outfields and in our greenhouse irrigation system.
So I believe that this is one of the best ideas that all Jamaican farmers should partake in. Not only that it is very beneficial to our economy, it is also beneficial to your pockets. To get this started, it is not really an easy process, but over a period of time you'll realize that because you are creating your own energy, you don't have to go ahead and buy water, because you're the one reusing, recycling your water, you're the one harvesting your water, you're the one treating it, so you don't have to pay to do all of those processes.
It is this application of technology and innovation within the agriculture sector that is being promoted by Portfolio Minister Karl Samuda.
We have to become technology savvy, and we have to introduce it at all elements of agriculture, because that's the only way that we are going to be on the cutting edge of competition.
And the Minister Samuda is encouraging young people to be part of this transformation by choosing areas of agriculture as careers.
The future of Jamaica's agriculture must rely on the wisdom of the old, but the energy of the young. They are the ones who are going to carry this process forward.
I leave you with another quote to think of. Being challenged in life is inevitable. Being defeated is optional. So muster up that spirit of perseverance and determination to achieve the things you want in life. Jamaica Magazine will be on again tomorrow, but as usual, we ask that you stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm, and keep sending your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.